That brings us over to the tag division. The main feud of the month was America's Most Wanted versus Team Canada.
Was it?
It was a feud this month.
Okay, so here's when, we were being pleasant about how they were, booking things. This one is where we lose it, because why did this happen?
So AMW had 3 matches this month, and I'm going to challenge you to look away from the notes and name them.
Okay.
Not including the pay-per-view match, by the way.
Yeah. So I know that they wrestled the big boys that were Tracy's team, or Trinity's team.
Fight out the slam.
They were Trinity's team.
I'm surprised that's the one you read. That's an Impact main event, by the way. And also, they win by DQ. They can't even pin Trinity's team.
I remember that one because as I was watching it, I was like, if AMW can have a great match here, they might be the best tag team of all time. They wrestled the Naturals in some capacity.
In 2 capacities, some might say.
Did they wrestle the Naturals in a regular tag and then in a 6-man?
Damn right they did.
Okay. Yeah, it was the Candido and Justin 6-man.
You know what? You remember it, so you've undermined my bit. So, Justy's booking is good!
I'm sorry. I just remember the Naturals, and then I was like, well, technically you gave me the answer.
That's true.
Because you said that they wrestled them twice.
So, March 18th Impact, Dustin Rhodes and America's Most...
You gotta cut that whole section.
Gone. Doesn't exist. March 18th Impact, Dustin Rhodes and America's Most Wanted defeat Chris Candido and the Naturals in a match that would probably be good if it was longer than 2.5 minutes.
Maybe. I don't have a lot of faith in Dustin at the moment.
But he's in there with AMW, and Candido and the Naturals are pretty good.
I like how you got whiny with it.
Yeah, I have to get higher pitched to defend the thing. I don't really believe it. They did have a cool power bomb where AMW did the thing they always do, where they hip tossed them into their own arms, but then they passed them off into Dustin to a power bomb. That was cool.
Garrett, I have another thing I want to talk about.
What's it about?
It's not wrestling related.
Go for it.
So, the AI stuff, right?
Yeah.
The voice stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Scares you, makes you think you won't have a job anymore?
Well, a bit of that, but also just, truly terrifying to, this idea that you could just mimic someone's voice perfectly at this point.
The weirder thing that's going to happen, I think, is less them doing it with people who are still alive.
Well, you say that, but on my screen right now, there is a TikTok of George W. Bush, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump playing Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, stop it. But, in terms of, from the law perspective, ultimately you will own your own voice, and people can't use it without your permission. So you'll be able to sue people. The thing that's going to become really weird for me is when families and estates of people who are dead begin selling their dead famous family members' voices for things.
When do dead people become free use?
Well, I don't think their voice does. I'm not sure there's precedent for that, though, so...
That's what I'm saying. This is a new thing. It's after 100 years, fucking Steamboat Willie is free use or whatever. Is it the same for people's voice and likeness?
Yeah, after Michael Douglas dies, you can make all your own Ant-Man movies.
Yeah. That's totally gonna be a thing that Marvel make people sign in the future.
Oh yeah.
If you die, we're allowed to use your voice.
But that is the real creepy part as this stuff gets better. Where when these corporations have permission, they'll do it. Because they do all the weird de-aging stuff.
Dystopian state.
They already put dead people in movies now.
Yeah.
Never mind when they can do it better. I don't like it.
Never mind when they can make them act.
We are still sitting on the precipice of the mother of all class action lawsuits against all of these AI because they were all built off copyrighted material.
Hopefully that's enough to fuck them all. You know what I saw the other day?
What?
While I was looking at voice acting work. There was 3 or 4 different posts from companies that are come lend your voice to our AI thing. And I was like, fuck you. Fuck you for doing it, and fuck you for promoting it on these sites specifically.
Hey, come help us replace you.
Yeah. Fucking thanks. Troy Baker.
Yeah, Troy Baker wants to do it anyway. He's fine.
That guy.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird thing. Because as I said, I think on one of our paywall shows, NFTs were a grift. They're not a real thing.
Oh no, as 700 followers unsubscribe.
I don't care. There's no real value beneath NFTs. It was all a pyramid scheme. Whereas AI will get better and scarier, and We have to be very careful about the ways we use it. Otherwise, it will cause chaos and havoc.
It's gonna cause chaos and havoc.
Sure will, because we'll be like 15 years too late to regulate it. But that'll be fun.
Well, you're not meant to have this.
No, we're not.
This isn't a thing that's meant to exist.
We have gone too far. We're talking about AMW against the Team Canada. Dustin and AMW beat Chris Candido and the Naturals after a death sentence. They pinned Andy Douglas.
You seem to have lost a lot of chutzpah after the AI conversation.
You've taken the life out of me. They should AI me back in now so that I'm enthusiastic.
From now on, everything that is said is going to be generated by AI.
Hello, I have 6 fingers. If you don't know what that reference is, apparently, like, this fingers is always the tell with AI art. You look and they constantly fucking put 6 fingers in there. Because
they don't get how people work.
They don't understand the human anatomy. They have not stolen enough copyrighted material about the human anatomy to process it. Main event, March 25th, AMW faced Phi Delta Slam.
What a match.
A television main event anywhere in the world, some might say. Go on, Phi Delta Slam are here, guys. Talk about them.
No.
Run down this TV main event for me.
No, I don't. I mean, listen. AMW went out there, they tried.
They did.
Nothing happened. Then Team Canada came out and attacked them. And then Phi Delta Slam tried to do their big shit. And then Dustin came out and saved them. Clearly, the answer here is Phi Delta Slam join Team Canada and fight them in the cage.
Are Team Canada a member of a fraternity? That's the word I'm looking for.
I mean, they look like college bros.
They do look like a bunch of frat bros. You're not wrong.
From about... Yeah, you know what? Yeah. And then Scott D'Amore can play like the hockey coach at the college or university, right?
Mm.
So he's like, I know these boys are trouble, but I let them get away with it because I'm the fucking hockey's so important, I guess.
They also even wear like Letterman jackets.
Exactly.
God, this actually works perfectly. Never mind.
Once again, T4, Phi Delta Slam, Team Canada. I've nailed it. Painbow. Oh, trust me, one day.
Yeah, that's the match. It was somehow not the worst TV main event this month.
No.
Dustin Rhodes and Cassidy Riley faced Lex Lovett and David Young. AMW were on commentary. They were like, "We're happy it's a cage match because we're good at cage matches."
That is like the consistent theme of AMW.
They are very good at cage matches. And then Go Home Show, April 22nd. You had AMW versus the Naturals.
Dino faked. He did the Kevin Nash.
Worst version of the Kevin Nash. There was no like fun reveal.
Yeah.
The Kevin Nash, if you don't know, is where he's sitting in the wheelchair and he pulls up and it turns out the cast leg is actually fake and he's fine. Where they did that,
youthful kids that listen may know it as the Xavier Woods.
Yeah, they'd steal it. That upsets me if they do know it as the Xavier Woods.
Or that one mascot.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And everyone was freaking out because it's like, it's the Nash!
It's the Nash!
So yeah, Candido jumped out of his chair, hit Chris Harris mid-catatonic, which I thought was actually the cool part of it, because he still hit the catatonic on Stevens, but then he hit Harris as he was mid-catatonic with the cast, and rolled Stevens onto him for the Naturals to pin AMW.
I like this little pairing of these three.
Candido and the Naturals?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it?
I think a part of it is I literally have always associated the Naturals with Chris Candido, so it kind of just feels like coming full circle, but I don't know. I like them as a pairing. It's kind of like them hanging out with their scummy uncle.
Yeah, and like the biggest problem with the Naturals is they're just not charismatic.
Yeah.
They're nice little wrestlers. They have like a good aesthetic. They look good.
They have good gear.
They're in good shape. They're just not charismatic. So you do need to put somebody with them, and I think Chris Candido really helps with that.
They're a little deer in the headlights-y.
And then Chris Candido brings a little personality, a little gumption to them.
They need a little chutzpah.
Lockdown! World Tag Team titles, AMW defended them against the Team Canada combination of Petey Williams and Eric Young. Bobby Roode is busy with another program we'll talk about in a second.
It does make me a little sad that it isn't like the rematch. I feel like that would have been a better all-around build.
Yeah, and especially because like a big thing they talk about in like the first few minutes of this match is how good that first AMW Team Canada match was, and how they're like reinventing tag team wrestling. And then it's like, well, it's Petey. And nothing wrong with Petey, but it's like, it's not the match.
Should have just done Petey and Dustin.
Yeah, they should have just flipped those. And I get like they see Rude as the singles guy, so they're giving Rude the singles program with Dustin. A lot of good that will do him. But yeah, it would have been better off for everybody if it's just... Even the way they worked this match, where like the first half of it is they took Harris out and they keep him on the outside.
Because how good would have like Eric and Bobby been at that? Because like they play that that scrappy heel role of people who are like trying to use their surroundings to their advantage really well. You saw it in the other tag match.
Yeah.
Like those two together are like have that kind of chemistry where they can tell like on feel where they should be.
Mm.
And I think that would have really lent itself well to this story.
Yeah, and as it was, with Storm just selling most of the way, it was just kind of dull.
And it was also Storm selling for two smaller guys. That's not like a death sentence or anything, but like with Bobby in there, it could have added a little more oomph to it.
Yeah, and like Harris gets in, they do all their stuff. A1's at ringside. There's also like the weird thing where there's like they don't explain that there's a stipulation, but there's two flags in the corner, so you're like, is it a flag match? And you're like, no.
We worked out later, it was moral support.
Yes, because they had the American flag and the Canadian flag in opposite corners. And then they're just there for set dressing, I guess. And then AMW come out with straps. You're like, is it a strap match? And it's also not that either.
That is kinky.
Yeah, Dusty gave them permission earlier in the show, apparently, to run out with straps. So I'm just like, there's too much going on.
Feels very biased.
Oh, that he did something to favor his boys, AMW?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, go out there with straps.
That's a cage match. There's no DQ, except when they do legal tags.
But like, I don't know. They didn't say, hey, Team Canada, go out and bring hockey pucks.
Mm. But they could have. They would have been DQ'd if they did.
That'd be a great weapon for a cage match. You get a hockey puck in the cage and you get the hockey stick, taking pot shots in the cage at people.
I feel like there would be no way to work a hockey puck shot.
Don't worry about it. Well, you work the puck, right?
Okay.
You make it like out of plastic or something.
But then it wouldn't like flow properly, would it? It would be too light.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we could find a way.
You would have to weight it.
It'd be a fantastic spot, though.
Yeah, especially for Team Canada.
But imagine if like who do you think in Team Canada is the best like shooter?
Probably Bobby.
I was gonna guess Eric. Ask Scott.
Who was the best hockey player in Team Canada? It's probably A1.
No, specifically, who is the best like offensive hockey player?
A1 looks like the guy who's probably least likely to be because he's like a big guy, so he's probably not coordinated. But then it probably turns out it is him.
Could be Johnny Devine.
Johnny Devine does seem like a finesse kind of guy. PD hit a sick tornado DDT where he ran across the cage. It looked awesome.
That was sick. Like I said, like even their cage spots were variable enough to stand out.
Yeah, they did 8 cage matches and no one really did the same thing twice.
There was like variations on the same thing, but nothing too bad.
Well agented this show was. I just turned into Yoda. Well agented this show was.
It's a great impression. Now do Obi-Wan.
No, I am wise and boring.
Don't watch my show on Disney Plus.
It's a bad show. All the Disney Plus shows are bad.
People like the Andor one.
Yeah, but that's like the serious show, so I haven't watched it. So I can just say they're all bad because I haven't watched the one people say is good.
I don't know. Wait a minute.
PD got a bunch of powder, Storm kicked it into his eyes, and then a blinded PD hit Eric Young with the Canadian Destroyer. AMW followed with a death sentence on PD to retain the World Tag Team titles.
Yay.
Yeah, good match. Nothing special, nothing particularly memorable, and nowhere in the same league as the Team Canada AMW match from January.
Nothing special. Nothing special. Nothing special.